Issue 263. Sonic tells Vector off for buying that he's become a villain, and points out that all that stress on him could release Super Sonic. This doesn't help his case, obviously, and Sonic breaks himself free of Omni since he can do that now. He throws Espio over his head and calls the Chaotix crackpot pretenders for being predictable as he satisfyingly throws Espio into Vector. Sadly, Vector hits Sonic, and Espio attacks Sonic from behind a lot, causing Sonic to grab his tongue. Sonic throws Vector into Omni, which I guess electrocutes him. And Charmy doesn't even try to attack him, as Sonic snarks, "What are you gonna do, tickle me unconscious?" Mighty says he's always wanted to hit Sonic because he's so cocky, and Sonic insults him, as I wonder if he's only bothering with this fight that's not helping his case because he's stressed out and wants a fight, and doesn't want to look like a coward running away. Mighty gets mad at Sonic and causes some damage to Emerald Hill Zone, and Sonic creates a whirlwind around Mighty, telling him off. "You want to be errand boys for gun? Fine, but make a difference where it counts. Help with supply runs, protect refugees, stop the family dealing on the black market. Maybe then you'll be good enough to run with the cool blue one. I'm out of here." You'd think that kind of speech would make it obvious that he's still a hero, but I guess they think he's lying all the time. And his super speed from running on the ground turns the soil soft enough to make Mighty sink into it as he runs away. Someone says they can track Sonic down to the ends of Mobius, where he's alone, hunted, and vulnerable, as we see Sonic looking really tired with a cloak and bags under his eyes. I feel pretty bad for Sonic. He's really kinda horrible at this point. He can't even get a safe place to sleep, because the idea of a burrowing animal burrowing into the ground to get a place to sleep never occurred to Sonic, apparently. And the story ends with the Shinazar bounty hunters being back, when they clearly got turned into stone by Medusa last time. At least the text box at the bottom of the page implies we'll get an actual explanation for this, unlike with Set, but it's just as arbitrary. In the next story, we see the Chaotix jumping through Omni to reunite with Knuckles on Flicky's Island. The reason they're here is to make sure Eggman isn't and find something to use against them. Mighty complains that there's not much use to him being here if he doesn't get to smack something, which makes me think of how this is how Scourge would be if he were a hero. Vector picks up electrical signals with a handheld device of his, and they find some metal Knuckles who aren't even painted yet. They're all gray. The door closes shut, and Knuckles reminds everyone to aim for the neck since that's the weak spot of the Metallix. They all get into a fight, with Charmy flying around avoiding the robots and taunting them, and there's a charming moment where Knuckles dismisses the robots as weak and attacks one that's threatening Vector, causing Vector to ask him why he's doing that if he thinks the robot is weak and say, "I don't like the implications here." Then Knuckles says that it's time to torch the island because these are ancient ruins of the Dracon Empire, which he calls a stain on Mobius' history. That's harsh but true. He used to an Echidna, and the Echidnas hated the Dracons. Vector, while holding the head of a Metallix, says that he has an idea. He could use this as a shortcut to reprogram the Metallix to be good. He could format their memories and download the Guardian Robot protocols. That's brilliant! They even look like Knuckles! And we'll never get to see this concept be used. Porker shows that he's still traumatized by when he was kidnapped by the Metallix, as we see him in a bed with his hands on his head, and someone says that he hears Porker at night. He still has nightmares to the Metallix. I feel a lot more sympathetic to Porker for having this kind of a problem if he didn't let it get to him by abandoning being a freedom fighter forever. I mean, Sally's had plenty of traumas to deal with. She even had a breakdown, but she never once left the freedom fighters. I'd take a slap over ditching the heroes permanently any day. And hell, Fiona did both, but at least it wasn't out of cowardice. At least she was still brave. Anyways, I never meant to rant about this. The story ends with Omni taking away the Metallix for Vector's plan. In the next story, we see Kane on TV with someone saying that Spear is announcing a recruitment drive in Stone Tower Zone and anyone can join. Amy plans to join under a fake identity and reason for coming on board. She goes to Camp Glory, run by a sergeant who plans to trash people into shape. I really don't get this. Why would he think that would make people good heroes instead of resentful of him in particular wanting to leave? Then Amy's told that she didn't fool them with the disguise, and someone says that Mr. Gold's behavior in front of the camera has been strange lately, and he's gonna have a big plan. He also reveals Gold knows Amy's here. Amy then breaks into a building to see what Gold's hiding, and she gets zapped by Wendy and is knocked out. She wakes up in front of Gold, who didn't bother to tie her up. She thinks that if she acts fast, maybe she can, and she trails off. If she really acted fast, she would have hit him or ran off by now. Mr. Gold freezes her in place with his glowing robot hand using an anti-gravity device, and Amy dismisses him as no better than Eggman, even though he never put anyone in badniks or polluted places. Then, oh, he did put people in badniks, because we see cyberniks around. Though at least he's using them to try to save the world. Why do we have to have Gold be written to be a smug villain in his personality? I mean, he thinks he's trying to do the right thing. He's supposed to be an extremist freedom fighter. He's frustrated with Amy for not defeating Eggman. It feels condescending to make him act like a villain anyways. The story ends with him making Amy float and reveal that this is Operation Final Glory. If it leads to Eggman's final defeat, I'm all for it. The first and second stories were by Stephen Davis, and the third story was by Shaz and Charles Ellis. The first story has Sonic have a pointless fight with the Chaotix that at least seemed satisfying since the Chaotix deserved it, antagonizing Sonic for being jerks at Charmy all the time. And just as Sonic was really tired and vulnerable, we see that Shanazar are bounty hunters hunting Sonic down to be used in a proper story finally. There better be a very good reason for how they survived last time. The second story has Vector get the brilliant idea to reprogram the Metal Knuckles into forces for good. I love this, they do look like Knuckles after all. They'd make more sense as robots for him than the Guardian robots. Plus, we'll get to see the Metal Knuckles really be used as a concept finally, except we won't, because the writer will forget all about this. And the final story has Amy join Spear as a double agent, and get threatened to be put into a cybernick by Mr. Gold.